Coworkers at DC's insurance department called her Sylvia. Friends called her by her middle name, Diane. Family called her Dee. They believe the entire system failed Dee before her death. Sheila Matthews is Sylvia's niece and in many ways the daughter she never had.
To me, December 3rd is the day that the city sent a very loud and clear message to women that they don't care.
This is the DC jail where Michael Garrett was serving a 24-year sentence for multiple burglary and assault charges against Matthews. Now, last year, Garrett applied for early release because of COVID cases inside this jail. According to family, Matthews had no idea that the man convicted of beating and robbing her got early release.
When prosecutors in the U.S. Attorney's Office objected to the early release, they added this warning. Due to the age of this case and the closure of the Federal Records Center, the government has not been able to locate the victims, nor the family members of the victim. But the Federal Records Center told WUSA 9 it has no record of an information request on the Garrett case from the U.S. Attorney's Office. The U.S. Attorney's Office has not replied to our questions about this contradiction.
We didn't know.
No, even when I saw her that Monday before.
Amazing to me that he would come back after all that time.
All that time.
Family says Matthews shouldn't have been hard to find. She lived at the same Southwest D.C. house for 30 years and worked for D.C. government. Sylvia Matthews' cousin, Regina.
It was more done 20 years ago than it was 20 years later. The laws, the legislation has to do better.
Before she was killed, court records show Matthews called D.C. police on October 7th, saying Garrett tried to force his way into her home and threatened her life. It was a violation of his parole. D.C. police responded and arrested Garrett, but he was let out of jail. Matthews called police again October 15th, saying Garrett beat her and said, "I am going to kill you." Police report they couldn't find Garrett after that incident. And then on December 3rd, hours before she was killed, prosecutors report D.C. police responded to Matthews' calls twice, saying she spotted Garrett in her neighborhood breaking into her car.
Someone's violated you, and to know that they were able to do it again and be successful is disgusting.
An MPD general order states a police officer must try to connect domestic violence survivors with counselors at the nonprofit organization DC Safe, who ask questions to provide relocation options. But Matthews never talked to a counselor, according to DC Safe. Why it didn't happen is under internal review by the group.
If one of your advocates had been able to ask Sylvia Matthews those questions, do you think it's possible that she would be alive today?
I think it's possible.
Court records show Garrett's parole supervisor flagged the court with a notice of noncompliance the weekend between his October 7th and October 15th arrests. We asked DC's Offender Supervision Agency what they did once hearing about those arrests, and it responded with, it increased Garrett's supervision level, without explaining what that practically meant. Court records show no effort was made to find and arrest Garrett for those parole violations.
But I think it's also an example of the system failing her, and not just failing her once, but failing multiple times.
Charles Allen chairs the D.C. Council Judiciary Committee and believes there is a possible fix to prevent future tragedies.
How can the system be fixed?
One of the things I want to look at is, does it require legislation, or does it require these partners to come together in a way to think about how this tool can be better used?
The tool Allen is speaking of, lethality assessments. DC Safe asks questions of the victim to determine whether their life is in danger. But there's no procedure to get those reports in the hands of federal judges making decisions about early release of inmates.
It is not currently used within the process of the criminal and civil process.
Should it be?
Yes, absolutely.
The multiple agencies involved in Michael Garrett's early release and supervision declined further comment either because of internal reviews or Garrett's ongoing murder trial. Meanwhile, Matthews' niece knows what she wants to say to the man charged with murdering an aunt close enough to step in as her mother.
You destroyed a part of our family that meant so much to us. Like, to you, whatever your obsession was, you took one person, but like, you really hurt people deep. You took the last, piece of my family.
In Southwest D.C., Nathan Baca, WUSA 9.